What's up, everyone? It's Dakota, and today in the modern format, we kind of got silly a few weeks ago with Pioneer, like one of the most ridiculous combo decks that you can play in the format. Oddly, one of the most complicated. So I figured today we could look at one of those decks in modern. Probably one of the most fun combo decks, just because it is pretty random, pretty abysmal, I would say, to like play in paper. If you love suffering and you love making other people suffer, then this is probably one of the best decks that you could play in the physical card game. On Moto, it's a lot easier to keep track of. And you probably already know, if you're familiar with the modern format, what deck I'm talking about. So today we're going to be looking at Glimpse Combo in the modern format. And before we really get into it, I just want to say thank you for everyone who watched the videos, of subscribes. It's been really awesome. Videos have been doing great, and just keeps making me want to put out more and more content each week. So if you haven't already, I would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and also consider joining my Discord server in the link in the description. That would be awesome. Then you can give me suggestions for more videos or ideas and things like that, because I'm always looking for new things to cover, things that are fun, always looking to make discussion videos and things like that, and to talk on my thoughts and all that. So I'd be grateful and would very much appreciate it. But without further ado, that's enough shilling for me. Let's go take a look at Glimpse Combo in the modern format. So here we are. This is the Glimpse Combo deck by Screenwriter NY. 5-2 the Modern Challenge, good enough for 12th place. The Modern Challenges I know are really tough. There's a lot of like streamers I watch like play it. Like Demonic Tutors is very good. And he always seems to either scrub out or do very, very well. So I know that the challenge can be challenging to say the least. And so like seeing this deck, and you'll see why I kind of talk like lowly of this deck in a way, because it is kind of random. You are basically like flipping a bunch of coins, metaphorically speaking, when you decide to play this deck. So what the heck are you doing? So Glimpse Combo refers to the card Glimpse of Tomorrow, which is from Modern Horizons 2, which you can spend for 2 red. But by now, if you understand the modern format, you know that these suspend cards with no mana cost are more than likely never getting suspended, short of the Rhinos suspend card. So, Glimpse of Tomorrow says you shuffle all the permanents you own into your library. You reveal that many cards from the top of your library, putting all non-aura permanents revealed this way onto the battlefield. And then you do the same for the aura cards, and you put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And before I even make myself look like a complete jerk, I'm pretty sure there's like no auras in this list at all whatsoever. Good, sweet, okay. And you can see from probably the spells, if you're watching this or going to the deck list that I leave conveniently in the description of the video, we're now doing fair things with Glimpse of Tomorrow. So you have cards like Violent Outburst, Shardless Agent Cascade into it. We know it from like the Rhinos and from the Living Index. Cards like Wave Sifter and Chancellor of the Forge add to your permanent count. So Wave Sifter, you can evoke for 2 mana, and when it enters the battlefield, you investigate twice, which means you create 2 clue tokens. Glimpse of Tomorrow doesn't care about the number of permanents shuffled into the deck. It actually just cares about the number of permanents on the battlefield. So when you have cards like Wave Sifter, I believe the lands it still plays the Colony Garden. Colony Garden makes a plant token. Uh, Wave Sifter makes a clue token, well, 2 clue tokens, and Chancellor of the Forge makes goblins. If you reveal it from your hand, you make a 1/1 on your first upkeep. Um, and they just essentially keep adding to that count. Fable the Mirror Breaker is one that can make a 2/2 that can attack and then make more tokens. Oh, this deck plays Ardent Plea too. That's pretty sweet. We're discovering things as we look at this deck list, this abomination. Um, so there's 10 ways to cascade into it, but there's plenty of ways to make extra permanents. The idea is that you play like a Colony Garden on turn 1. Turn 2, you play like a Wave Sifter to make to investigate a bunch. You have a Chancellor of Forge in your opening hand, so you have another token, and then you play your third land and hopefully like Violent Outburst on your opponent's end step to do some sweet things. So you have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, I believe 7 permanents. And then you're looking to get into Chancellors of the Forge are good because you put X 1/1 goblins on the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures you control. So Chancellor can put in just a bunch of goblins on top of just being like a giant 5/5 on his own. Uh, the real creatures that will end the game way faster than Chancellor of the Forge. Iona, Shield of Emeria. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a color, and your opponents can't cast spells of the chosen color. Obviously, monocolor decks get locked out, and then a lot of even like the 2 and 3 color decks, you just kind of like shut them down completely. Iona naming white or green, some key colors against like the elementals deck and like the Yorion decks and things like that. You just kind of shut them down, and they have a hard time answering your things, and they have a hard time answering a 7/7 flyer, kind of like how most decks do. Short of like double Fury or Fury plus like Ephemerate and things like that, can make like difficult, but it is what it is. And of course, like the best creature to cheat into play for free, Emrakul, which obviously has Annihilator 6, protection from spells that are one or more colors, and then also has flying. So obviously, you get to attack with this. You're dealing 15 damage to your opponent. Chances are if that's not enough to win the game, them sacrificing their 6 worst permanents. But if you're doing this on the turn that you hope to do it, turn 3, they're not going to have any permanents. You're still going to have an Emrakul in play. You're probably still going to have like a Chancer or an Iona, whatever, and they're going to have a hard time winning. This deck does fizzle some amount of the time because obviously it is random. You are shuffling the permanents back into the deck, um, which is why you want to create as many tokens as possible. Because if you have to shuffle 12 permanents into your deck and you only have 5 actual cards getting shuffled in there, you're essentially netting 7 cards that would be put into play. And it can hit lands, so you can just end up putting a bunch of lands into play. You could just like put an Omniscience, and then you just have some of these cards in your hand. You just get to cast them for free. Obviously, Emrakul, getting to cast it from an Omniscience, getting to take an extra turn, can be the difference because you put in an Emrakul, you put in a Chancellor, and then you untap, and you are very likely to kill your opponent on that turn from the extra turn from Emrakul. The mana base gets to do some not so utility-ish things that you're maybe normally see from like some modern decks. It gets to play 2 Boseiju to destroy artifact enchantments on basics. I believe cards like Grafdigger's Cage and stuff stops Glimpse of Tomorrow. Cards essentially like that. So like having main deck ways in Boseiju to deal with them is pretty good. Gemstone Caverns is an interesting one because if it's in your opening hand and you are not the starting player, you can put it into play with a luck counter, and if you do, you exile a card from your hand. Essentially, gets to fix your mana, but you can also sort of kind of get ahead on your opponent by just putting a Gemstone Cavern into play and then getting to play a Wave Sifter on turn 2, or just kind of like set up from there. This deck doesn't really get a lot of good like turn 2 plays from getting to put a Gemstone Cavern in on their technical opponent's first turn, going into your first turn. And it doesn't have any 1 mana plays to just play like tap lands and stuff. So like it doesn't get the full benefit from Gemstone Caverns, but still very good when you essentially get to be on the play versus your opponent. When you're on the draw, it increases your chances of winning those games because again, you're virtually on the play rather than being on the draw. Sideboard cards, another Gemstone Cavern for when you really, really want to go first for the Rubbins. Forced Negations, Mystical Disputes for the control decks, Soft Permission, things like that. Even getting to use this against like the other unfair Cascade decks as well. This definitely will put in work. Leyline of Sanctity because we hate discard spells, and Fury because we really hate creature decks. And that's the Glimpse combo deck for Modern. Super sweet. It's a lot of fun to play, and like it just does a lot of interesting things. Like, you essentially know that if you play this deck, you are taking a gamble. There's going to be some days where you flip in to like multiple Emrakuls and Ionas, which obviously aren't good, but flipping into having 2 of them on the battlefield is pretty good. Or you just flip into like all lands, or you hit like Ardent Pleas and stuff like that. You don't get your heavy hitters and stuff. So this deck does have a little bit of drawback to it. The only good thing being is that since you are putting more permanents into play, like if you do hit like a number of Wave Sifters, or you hit like a Chancellor, or so on and so forth, you can just put more permanents into play, and then you are able to have an even bigger glimpse to have a better chance of hitting said cards that you want to actually put into play. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the deck or you just enjoyed me rambling and talking about this super insane, crazy brain like combo deck, please be sure to leave a like on the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Of course, always subscribe to the channel. I always post modern and Pioneer content, hopefully soon every day when things stop being crazy. And then be sure to join the Discord server as well. Hang out with me for a little bit, like talk about like Magic and things like that. Always a good time. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.